So, instead of sitting in the back of my hot-ass car, decided to take a little walk around again. I'm not here to really show you guys anything. We've already been there, done that, but I'm going to talk about my interest in the paranormal, if you will. I know I got kind of rant my last video. It didn't really want to go all that well, to be honest with you. I could probably edit some of that out, but I don't want to be getting into the guy who wants to edit stuff. I don't want to be that guy. I just want to be... This is just like if you were right here. This is what I'd be saying, and I'd be maybe going a little off the wall with some things. But anyway, so I've always had, I'm not gonna say I've always had like a sixth sense for anything, because I don't. I really kind of wish I did, but I really don't. Sometimes I get emotional when I see things, or like I'll not necessarily see things, but if I experience something, or like a certain smell fills the air or fills the room and it's familiar, I get a little emotional, that kind of thing. But of course there's nothing visual about it when that happens, but like you'll smell like a familiar perfume, cologne, something like that. That's like sometimes, I don't know if it's so much in my house now, might have been the house before, but I used to get whiffs of what my grandmother's house would smell like, and I always thought that was interesting. Like, why am I getting these things, Is it just memories coming back to life, or is it something better? Something bigger, Is it scary? No, absolutely not. Anybody who's afraid of the afterlife is afraid of death. It's as simple as that. Anybody who's ever made contact, any kind of contact, with anything that may or may not be real, even if they think they did, and they're in denial, or they're, that's a weird way to put this, or they put it out there, it's like, hey, this is my evidence, check it out, and it's genuinely fake, or it's genuinely just not legit. They're afraid of it too, okay? Because if you're going to fake your evidence, you're afraid of the real thing. Is the real thing out there? I'm not saying it is, I'm not saying it isn't. Am I curious? Yeah, I've always been curious. Why? That's what we're going to get to right now. And yes, we're still at the cemetery. I know I don't get out much, but when I do, I stay there forever. You can't get rid of this guy. It's a good thing they don't have tacos out here. I don't know if the God ever leave. But, so I had this experience when I was a little boy, a little kid. Just a little nippa. For some reason, it was me, maybe one of my brothers sleeping in, I think it was my younger brother sleeping in the basement. I think we just did it during the summer times. It was cooler down there, but we just slept on the couches or the floor or whatever we ended up passing out on, because that's how kids rolled. And I remember waking up, and I would look up to all the the part of the ceiling that met the wall, the corners, and all I saw was these giant white eyes staring back at me. And I remember grabbing hold of a pillow for comfort, because that's what kids do. That's probably what I still do now, but that's what we did. And I remember grabbing that thing, and I was just looking around, and I remember sitting up, and that's when I realized that I'm awake, okay? Or if I'm not awake, I'm at least having a really, really good, vivid dream. Do I believe I was awake? I don't know. Who can remember that far? But I remember sitting up, and I'm just looking all around me. I'm like, holy. I probably didn't say holy, whatever, but, my brother, he's still asleep. I'm like, I gotta get upstairs, because that's where the parents are. So I get up, and I'm slowly just kind of like, I don't remember if I'm creeping or if I'm crawling, or maybe I'm creeping and crawling. But I remember I'm gonna use a stone as a reference to where the stairs are. I got to the stairs, and I tried to go up the stairs, right? So you go to take the first step, the step pulled away from me. So I go to do it again, and it pulls away from me. It kept pulling away from me. I remember I started crying profusely, just bawling. And I turned back around, and I look, because when we have the bottom of my mom's house, the bottom of her stairs, you go this way, there's a room, there's a pantry, there's a giant chest freezer, there's the family room. The family room is where we were sleeping at. I looked this way, they were still looking, okay? I looked this way, there's nothing but darkness. I'm like, I would rather go back into the family room, so that's what I did. And I still had that pillow, And I tucked myself into a little ball, and I laid in the middle of the floor, and I asked for them to go away. Sorry, like I said, I got emotional. I don't know why. Might have been actually the first time in my life I was legitimately scared of something I didn't understand. Because that's exactly what fear is. When you don't understand something, and you can't just accept it for what it is, you're scared. That's where fear comes from. So, that was my first experience. I can't believe I remember it so vividly. I also can't believe it messes me up inside still, but it does. I mean, when you got no answer for something, and you're still kind of looking for it, even if it's been, 30 plus years now, that's a pretty big effect on your life. Now, did that go and follow me all the way through the rest of my life? Well, yeah, but I mean, one of those things I didn't think about every day, It's not one of those things where it's like, I go to mom's house and I go into her basement and I think about that. I don't do that, no. It just happens to be my earliest remember of being afraid of something I don't understand. It could have just been me having a really good nightmare. And by really good, I mean really vivid. I don't mean like it was good for my health. Let's say that. So now, if we fast forward into when I first moved out of my parents' house. See you later, car. Hope it doesn't get too dark. I won't be able to see her. But anyway, fast forwarding into my first apartment was over at Park Jefferson Apartments. I'm not sure what it's called now. Apartment 707, 234 Rue Flambeau. Apartment 707. Whoever's there now, if you're watching this, I had some kookiness going on in there for sure. As a matter of fact, I've had more experiences in that little apartment than I've had anywhere else. And I only lived there maybe 5 years. It was bad, okay? I even had friends who lived there with me at a time that had stories. Patrick had stories. Corey had stories. Sam, I think, had stories. She at least had one that I remember her in the bathtub, and she heard her drilling all the time. That could have been maintenance, that could have been a lot of things. 9 o'clock at night, probably wasn't maintenance. Unless it was an emergency, I don't see that happening. Smell that? Look. Made you look. Anyway, so I was in the apartment, right? And Corey would always tell me, the chandelier moves by itself all the time. I never seen that. I don't know if he was just adding to the phenomena that was our little apartment up there, but I never seen that. But my experiences were in the master bedroom / down the hall. You're in the master bedroom, okay, and then down there there's a small hall in the same room. There's 2 walk-in closets on both sides, and then there's a small bathroom at the end with just a sink and toilet. A half bath, I guess, probably just the top half. But yeah, so I was laying in bed one night, playing some the hell was that thing I was playing? It's an old handheld system, Game Boy Advance. Maybe remembers those things. I think I was laying in bed playing that thing. Girlfriend was asleep, And I went to go to bed. I shut my little Game Boy Advance off, and all the lights were off. The blinds were closed. There was a bedroom window. Blinds were closed. Pitch black in there. She had a fan going, but that was really the only sound, And so I go to lie down, and I'm like, oh, all right. I'm looking up at the ceiling, and something's looking back at me. Eyes? No, not eyes this time. I've got a full body. The outline, anyway. The silhouette of a full body. Individual, head, shoulders, torso that went all the way down to the wall. That's where it ended. Well, of course, I'm laying there, and I'm thinking to myself, first of all, the only way that could be my shadow is A, if there was a light behind me, which there isn't. B, if I was that small, which I'm not, I'd see I wasn't moving and it was. So I laid there and just stared at it. Pardon me. Let me get a beverage. I laid there and I just stared at it. I didn't really know how to react. I didn't really want to, like, I think I was old enough to, you know, and more curious at that point than I was when I was a little kid, you know. I'm like, man, I am just going to stare at this thing and see what it does. Oh, man. Oh, nice room temperature. So I'm just looking up at it, you know, I'm just laying there on my back looking up, and it's almost like it had like a wave pattern to it. It's really kind of hard to explain. It's almost like when you light a pilot light and you look at the gas to see if it's on, and you can see the gas kind of moving. That's what it looked like, but it was all in that, just in that silhouette. I don't really know how else to explain it. Somebody I'm sure will, but sorry, I was looking at a Volkswagen Bug, and I guess all the bugs are out tonight. But so I'm looking at it. I'm like, man, I don't know what's going on, but I have a feeling if I lay to one side or lay to the other side, and if I come back around and look for it, it's either going to be A, gone, or B, standing at the foot of my bed. A and B, to me, A sounded a little better. So that's what I did. I just basically rolled over, laid on my side for however long I could remember, and I took a peek, okay? Not because I was really scared. I think I was just curious. I'm like, is this thing really still here? If it even is a thing, or did I fall asleep playing my goddamn Game Boy Advance? There's just too many questions here. So I'm gonna peep for an answer. So I look up on the ceiling. Gone, of course. That was A. That's what I said was gonna happen. I said, damn. So I didn't really think much of it. I think I told the ex what happened the next day or whatever. But I didn't ever see it again. At least not directly. I think he may have still been there the night after. I'm sorry, because the night after, I had myself a little incident the night after too. We lived there with a couple cats, and this was in the master bathroom again. I think this was the next night or the night after or something, and I remember hearing scratching at a door, at the bathroom door at the end of the tunnel, hallway. And it was almost like sounded like a cat was basically got himself stuck inside my my half bathroom, and the door was closed. So I'm like, first of all, how the hell did he get in there? Because when we went to bed, we usually left them out in the living room, you know. Or we'd at least leave the bedroom door cracked. Anyway, besides the point. So I get up out of bed and I'm shuffling my big old butt down the hallway to the bathroom door. You know, when it's pitch black and I turned any lights on, I walked up to that door and I went and grabbed the doorknob, and sure as shit, it was locked. I have no key for this door. It's a bathroom, so it has the thing, but I never had a key for it. So I go to turn it again, and I keep turning, and I'm like, I release the doorknob. It does the same damn thing back to me. I back away. I said, there's no cat in there. Cats may be one thing, but they do not know how to open a door knob. Anyway, so it does it back at me. I'm like, all right, cool. So I walk down the hallway a little bit. I'm more towards closer to the bed again. You know, because the ex is laying there. Maybe I feel a little bit better. And I'm kind of like pacing like I am now. I'm like, all right, well, one or two things is going to happen here. Either I'm just going to go back to bed, forget this whole thing happened, and it'll be fine in the morning because that's how daylight works. Or two, I'm going to knock. Hey, you know what? Let's knock. So I walk up to the door. I'm like, whew. This might be why I'm on high blood pressure medication still to this day. And I knock. And I take a step back. Nothing. I was like, all right. Like an idiot. I go for the door handle again. I'm like, hello? You know? Nothing. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go back to bed. And that's what I did. I just went back to bed. Nothing else happened. I'm sure whatever it was had its fun. It was probably the one who checked on me the night or the week or whatever it was before, the one that was on the ceiling. I have a feeling it was definitely related. Whether it was I don't know, I don't really dive into particular types of spirits or if they even exist. Yes, of course I dive into that, but or why they even do what they do. But I'm thinking, well, either A, this one's just playful. It just wants to mess with me because maybe he lived here before. Maybe he passed in here, who knows. Or B, it's like another sign from for another reason, you know. One of them deals. But either way, those are the experiences I had at the apartment. I mean, that and the ones that my roommates had. Chandeliers and whatnot. Ceiling fan, maybe that was another one. I don't remember like a whole lot of doors opening and closing by themselves, nothing like that. But if we fast forward into the house at Oakcrest, the one that I lost, unfortunately, yet fortunately. Hold on, someone's loud right now. Hear that? I'm leaving soon, calm down. So we fast forward into that, and I had an old, go ahead, laugh at me, okay? I'll let you laugh first. I had an old Razor flip phone. You know, it was my first cell phone, alright? A, I'm showing my age. B, it's what I wanted. God, I A and B things a lot. But anyway, I remember messing around with the camera, just sitting in the basement one night. And what looks to me, if I remember the setup of the basement, it was you walk downstairs, take a right. That was a fitness room, as they called it. It was almost like just a room to do whatever in, I guess. There was a small room attached to that. Come down the stairs, go to the left, that's the laundry room. Come down the stairs, keep walking forward. That's the family room, aka basement living room. So I sat on the couch in that basement living room. I remember looking over at that weird hallway with the weird recreational room, let's call it that. And I was just taking pictures with my phone, just for the heck of it. It was kind of nighttime like it is now, and I got like a lot of, if you looked at it in a certain way, it looked like there was a long skeleton face, like a skull. Not really looking at me, it was just kind of like there, almost like a Halloween decoration that wasn't there. But that was my first incident. Well, it wasn't a major one, I didn't really think anything of it. I just thought maybe that was just the way the lighting looked. Almost like it produced like this weird skull effect, which I thought was cool. Unfortunately, of course, I don't have that anymore, but these mosquitoes are out like crazy now. It looks, it's a lot darker than it does looks like in the phone. It's because it's called light. Number 2, Halloween night. I want to say 2007. It's about, wow, that was a long time ago. I remember we were decorating the front of the house, I'm sorry, for Halloween. I hung my little Grim Reaper up. We had some orange and purple lights we were going to hang up outside. And I went downstairs to get an extension cable. On the extension cable cords, I left them those orange industrial mother humpers. You go downstairs, you take a right, there's that rec room. Well, you take another sharp right. There's closets that hold the water heater and the furnace and all that stuff. That's where I kept a lot of that extra stuff, like the cable, whatnot. So I grab it. I grab the extension cord and I go to close the doors. As soon as I turn the corner, I hear a male voice say, "Where you going?" Clear as day. Sorry, it's gonna get emotional in here again. It's clear as day. I heard, "Where you going?" I didn't say anything in return. Okay, I didn't respond. I just went right back up the stairs. I went to do what I was doing. The ex was out there, putting putting the lights up, whatever. I go out there and I'm like, hey, I know I'm into this kooky stuff, but I think I may have just had a real good experience downstairs that I kind of wish I would have filmed. I kind of wish I had proof of. I had a razor at the time. It wasn't on me. It wouldn't do me any good to this day. But that voice, was clear as a bell. And that was, like I said, either Hallows Eve or Halloween night. Now that I think about it, it may have been Hallows Eve. Because Halloween night of that year, because I'm cliche, and because it was so close to when my event happened, I got all my VOR recorder, which is a voice operated recorder. It's got a setting, you just set it. It's analog. Set it down. As soon as it detects sounds, it starts to record. If everybody's silent, if it's like this, the recording light stops recording. It's a pretty simple instrument, still used to this day for EVPs. That's kind of what I was trying to get at that night at that house. So I set it and I forget it. Basically, I set it up, I put new batteries in it. I said, you know what, I'm going to do my thing on Halloween. I'll be back and see if I got anything. Well, I got some things. I know Andy has heard them. He thought maybe there were people coming up the driveway, wondering why there's no candy here. Yada, yada, yada. I didn't leave any lights on, nor were there any cars in it. I mean, I don't know why people would walk all the way up a driveway, which I would say it was at least 3 cars long. Why would you walk all the way up, go to the side of the house, and say, I wonder why there's no trick-or-treaters here, when you're already past the front door? But anyway, so I'm not saying, Andy, you're wrong, okay? I don't even know if you're going to be watching this. Again, this is just what I do. If you want to watch, that's fine. I don't care. But, so I found out what I had on that tape when I came home. And it was a lot of conversation. It was a man and a woman, the same voice throughout the same tape, talking about people who are now living in their house. Come to find out, 2 deaths in that house. And there was I don't want to call it a panic room per se, but it was a military house. It was one of those military neighborhoods where you're kind of like, there's a closet from the recreation room. There was a closet. You walk into the closet, you actually end up in the other room through under the other closet. There's no separation between rooms. So if you had to hide, that's where you'd go. You'd walk, you'd go into the closet, and then you lock that door to the spare bedroom that was down there, whatever you want to call it, and you're good to go. Nobody would even know you're in there. But at least that would be the theory, I would imagine. But so that was my first house experience. I really haven't had any in the house I'm at now, which is kind of unfortunate. It's kind of a dead zone, if that's even the right word. But Indian Springs, I lived in Indian Springs. I'm not calling Indian Springs out. I'm not saying it's a bad place to live. I had a lot of fun there. It was a great place to live, really, but I had to move on. But I had my first successful ghost box session there. I just didn't record it like a mott, but I actually did have a intelligent response telling me that she was sitting on the stairs, because it was a townhouse. I had stairs that went up to my 2 bedrooms and a bath, and she told me her name was Alice. I just basically set up that ghost box, and I started just asking questions. Hey, is anybody here? Does anyone want to communicate? I heard those who have gone can use these devices, explain how everything works, basically. I must have been bored or something, but like I said, that's what I'm into. So I did that, and I ended up getting some of these words that were coming through the radio, And she was like, yeah, name's Alice. Like, that would come through, just name's Alice. I was like, all right. And you could tell, for these ghost box sessions, what's radio and what's not. Because the radio, would scan it through, it's always at the same volume, always at the same frequency, you know, yada, 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 yada. Well, not same frequency, I guess, but when a voice comes through, it's either sounds higher or lower or slower or just something that just doesn't sound natural. And then she's like, yeah, I'm Alice. I was like, I think I just heard I'm Alice. I was like, Alice, can you tell me if you're here? On the stairs. That came through just like that. I really wish I had that on film, but anyway. Oh my goodness, it's getting dark out here. These mosquitoes are eating me alive. Not really, because I taste like crap, but that's not true. But I'm gonna get out of here. It's dark. The cemetery's officially closed. So even if I do look like I'm here on business, I'm really not. So I guess I gotta go. I'm gonna go ahead and thank you guys for tuning in. Those who did, those who don't, it don't matter. Like I said, I just do this for my own benefit. Maybe I just like to hear myself talk, but either way, definitely gonna dive into some paranormal stuff. So there's nothing to be afraid of. You can't fear what you can't prove. See you later.